All right, everyone, we have very, very good news. Superlatively good. Utah has banned fluoridated water in its systems. I strongly agree with this. Fluoridated water is completely superfluous. People already brush with fluoride toothpaste, usually. I prefer to use charcoal and or baking soda, but people generally brush with a fluoridated toothpaste. They also go to the dentist, especially children. They get fluoride treatment and stuff like that. Under such circumstances, drinking a bunch of fluoride is probably a bad idea for your teeth. It can cause fluorosis. It can cause problems in your bones, in your skeleton. If it's not just, the topical trays, you rinse it off afterwards and stuff like that. And generally, you don't swallow toothpaste. But if you are also drinking it can cause all sorts of problems in your skeletal system. It's becoming a real big issue. And it kind of depends on the fluoride level, I suppose, but it's not necessary. It doesn't serve any real health purpose. If anything, it causes a detriment. There was a tale, I think this was last year actually. One water service worker got in trouble here in the state of Vermont. I can't remember the township, but he was deliberately undermining the amount of fluoride that was going into the water system. And I was like, bravo, here's a true Vermont hero. We do a little bit weird here sometimes, but it serves a good purpose because 99% of those kids are already brushing at least once and usually twice a day with a fluoride toothpaste. I had mild fluorosis when I was a child on the tips of my front teeth. This is from excessive fluoride levels. It's gone away now. It's no longer a problem, but on my baby teeth, I had fluorosis on them because, and I don't know if the water system in the Woodstock area, that's the other side of the state, I'm not sure if it's fluoridated. I do not believe that Rutland's water supply is fluoridated. Oddly enough, the entire city and surrounding area that gets the city water, it's fed literally by the reservoir right out back of my home. I've visited it probably thousands of times at this point, which is interesting to me. Link in the description. Archived, of course, Utah becoming the first state to outright ban fluoridation in city water supplies. I have a private well here, so I don't have to worry about these things. And the water here is crystal clear, it is pure, it is pristine, artesian well fed. It is delicious, actually. It's funny because after years of drinking the shit water on the other side of the mountain, at first I didn't like the water here. It had a weird flavor to it. Then I realized, oh shit, the flavor is no flavor. That's the whole point, because it's completely untreated. And the well's been repaired, by the way, too, over time. So, it's up to modern standards. Doesn't have a fluoride injector in it. The government will probably come along and mandate that at some point. Mandatory fluoride injection into private wells if your home has any children in it or something like that. They'd probably seek to do that. The authoritarians will stop at nothing to make people less healthy. Fluoride in water systems is not necessary. It's not that it's causing mass casualty incidents or that they're trying to calcify your pineal gland. Dude, I have a book. It's from the year 1901, if I remember correctly. This is long before fluoridation in water supplies was a thing. Already talking about calcification of the pineal gland. It has to do with going through puberty, generally speaking. That's just sort of human biology. That's why kids are more occult. Ha ha ha. That's a long-standing joke. Actually, it's mentioned literally in the book that I think it was by William Dower. I think it was the first book that I actually edited, if I remember correctly. Huh. But after World War II, yeah, it is true. If you watch Doctor Strangelove, it's a little bit odd, a little bit on the nose, that water fluoridation did begin right after the end of World War II. I have a feeling that they're like, ah, shit, we got all this toxic waste. How do we get rid of it? Well, it serves some topical medical purpose. Let's pump it into the water supply. That's a good way to get rid of it. Yeah, we'll just do that. I couldn't figure out any other way to do so. Fluoridation in water is not necessary. There are people in third world countries that drink from fucking puddles and still maintain dental habits because fluoride toothpaste exists. It's never been necessary. And it was sold to the American public on the same basis as many other things that are unsavory and normally wouldn't be tolerated by the public, but they're tolerated because of one line. Think of the children. That's basically what they sold it on. Well, if we fluoridate the water supply, then your children will get less cavities. By the way, buy this cereal that's pure sugar. That's exactly what was happening in the 40s and 50s. Sugar is good for you. Just make sure to drink your fluoridated water. You'll be all set. Everything will be fine. That was the pitching point. And since then, it has continued and continued. People with private wells, I've noticed people from rural areas, absent the ghettoized like bumpkin community sort of stereotype, people in rural areas seem to have better teeth than urbanites in many cases. My teeth are perfectly fine, other than the one that I cracked in half on that all of that time in the Netherlands. That was a baby tooth anyway that failed to sprout into an adult tooth, so I don't really rue the loss. Other than that, everything up there is fine. Uh, and I brush and floss and do all of those other things, not without good reason. But I wouldn't want to drink from a fluoridated water supply. Also, it tastes funny. It gives it if you ever use those fluoride washes as a kid, like the bubblegum flavored ones, there's a little hint, a little effervescence behind the wash that you're using. It's not clearly not bubblegum, it's something else. That's the fluoride. And it makes the water feel slippery, if that makes any sense. It gives it a weird consistency. It's like it's water, but it's not quite water, if that makes sense. I don't know. I can detect it. I have a feeling like maybe some people have the receptor for this and some don't. Maybe it's a genetic thing, but I can tell if the water's been fluoridated. You can also tell if it's been chlorinated. That I don't mind as much because that's like sort of we're trying to keep bacteria out of the water lines. Okay, a little tiny amount of chlorine is not going to hurt anyone. We use it in the military actually as well. They have basically bleach tablets. You put it in the water and then, you let it become antibacterial. And the hope is that if you're in a tropical climate or a third world nation or something, then you won't get parasites. You won't get infected by something that's going to eat away at your flesh. That's okay. Chlorination of the water supply to a limited degree is not going to hurt anyone. But fluoridation is doing damage to people's skeletons. It's doing damage to people's teeth. And it's completely unnecessary. It's basically a post-World War II psyop more than anything else. It's almost like an extended propaganda campaign, and people just sort of got used to it. And so they said, well, think of the children. Well, yeah, I am thinking of the children. I'm thinking the fact that half of them have fluorosis of the teeth because they're getting too much goddamn fluoride. Let them brush their teeth, teach them how to floss, and call it a day. That's about all. Peace out.